Hello and welcome to Tolve Closes. This month we are focusing on entrepreneurship. So I fall into that category definitely as a realtor. I'm a residential realtor in North New Jersey. I have a lot of experience and knowledge in the field, and it really helps me help my clients even more and bring a lot of value to the table. It's my job to help my clients find the specific home that they're looking for or sell their home at the specific price that meets their needs that they're trying to get to. So, what does it take to be a realtor? I'm going to go through 7 points today that will explain to you what it takes to be a realtor as far as being an entrepreneur. So, the first thing is knowledge. And I think this goes for any industry that you're in, but you have to have knowledge with the industry that you're in. So you have to understand the process. Fortunately, I've definitely learned the process by working in other areas of the real estate industry, which title I still work in. But I also learned a lot of lending, the lending aspect as well. But you need to learn the entire process. As a realtor, you can't just learn how to sell homes. You need to learn how the whole process works from beginning to end, because then you can bring that value to your clients. It's a very competitive job, so you want to make sure that you have the most knowledge. Maybe you might not have the most knowledge, but more knowledge than the average person. Because let's say, it's easy to say, these are the 5 steps to buying a home. But when you actually get in front of a client, there's going to be like 500 steps to buying a home. And you want to be able to explain those steps to them each step of the way. They're also going to have like 500 questions, and you want to be able to have that knowledge because you learned to give them, because that adds value. Again, as the realtor, that's something you need to have. That's something I definitely have. I spent a lot of time learning the whole the back end of the process so that I can give my clients that knowledge before they even have to ask. So knowledge is very important. And again, as an entrepreneur, this is something that's not handed to you. So you're not going to get a book that says, this is the knowledge you need to learn. This is how the lenders work. This is how the title works. This is how the inspectors work. This is how that's not how you learn. You have to take it upon yourself as an entrepreneur to go out there and learn those things. So it's all very much an experience. You learn through experience, but it's on you to go out and learn those things, because no one's going to do it for you. And that leads me to my second point. About knowledge is learning the market. So this again is another thing that no one's going to give you a list and say, these are the things that are going on in the market. I mean, they can give you a list, but you're not going to fully understand unless you're in the market. So you've got to be out there, with your listings, dealing with sellers. You have to be out there with your offers, dealing with buyers. And maybe if you're on a slower time, you can get on the MLS, look at the prices, run sellers reports, find out what the comps in the area are. You need to really do your research and learn the market, because this is how I bring value to my clients. I have to know the market, because they're going to ask me, and I want to, before they even ask me, I want to be able to prepare them and give them the knowledge so that they're aware of what kind of market they're getting into when they're selling their home or buying their home. So again, very important. These are things that you need to learn yourself. There's no like book on how to. You, as an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself basically. So you have to really get out there and learn. You have to learn because that adds value to you. And you don't have to just learn your position as a realtor. You have to learn the entire real estate industry. Now, the third thing, my third point is you have to be able to push yourself as an entrepreneur. Like I mentioned, no one else is going to do it for you. So it's not, being a realtor is not your typical 9-to-5 job where you're clocking in and you're clocking out. No one's watching you for 8 hours a day to make sure that you're doing your job. It's on you to push yourself to get out there and do your job. It's on you to create your own schedule. You have to make a schedule that works for you and your business, because again, you're basically working for yourself. And I like to put it this way, that, all realtors do the same job, but they do it differently. So I do my thing, my business, I run my business very differently than somebody else might do it. We may all be realtors, but we all have a different way of marketing ourselves. We have a different way of treating our clients. We have different knowledge. So it's really based upon each realtor. Now, okay, I went over that already. My next point that I wanted to go over is dedication. So you need to be dedicated. Being a realtor is very demanding. And you learn that as you go. You can be told that, again, that's something you learn through experience. You can be told that it's demanding, but once you're in it, you really fully understand. You have to be ready to take that phone call wherever you are, whatever you're doing at any time, because if you don't take that call, somebody else will, and people today, they want now. They're very impatient. So if you're the realtor that doesn't answer her phone or doesn't respond to her text messages, his or her, I should say, they're going to move on to someone else. This is a business where they can pick any realtor they want. So you have to prove to them that you add that value. So you've got to be dedicated enough to put in that work and be available to your clients. So if you're not dedicated, you're going to lose clients, which means you're going to lose money, and nobody wants that. So my next point is patience. You have to have a lot of patience being a realtor. I have learned a lot of patience. I like to think of myself as a patient person, but I definitely learned it more being a realtor. You have to understand, or try to understand, that these clients, they're not in the industry like the professionals are. They have never done this before. They don't know anything about it except what they've seen on HD TV. So you really got to handhold them. Yes. You really got to hold their hand and guide them. And you might have to, take it 100 steps back to basics and explain it to them in a simple way, which I do that very well. I've had to do it a lot. So I've learned how to break things down in a simplified way so that my clients fully understand everything. And that does take a lot of patience, because you do get these clients who, they're not all the same. You might have a client that barely asks any questions and they just trust you to do it all. And they trust the process, but then you have other clients who maybe call you twice a day with new questions. So, you really got to have the patience for people. The world in general is full of different people with different attitudes and different experiences. And you really need to learn to, you got to be able to adjust and adapt to all the different attitudes of the world, basically. And that's a general entrepreneurship, thing that you have to do. But as a realtor, it is too, because you're going to be working with so many different people from all different walks of life. So now that we've gone over knowledge and attitude, let's talk about the money aspect. You need to learn as an entrepreneur and as a realtor how to budget your money. Well, it's budget and manage, but I'll do budget first. You're not getting a steady paycheck of, your 40 hours a week, every 2 weeks, I don't even remember how people get paid regularly anymore, but you're not getting that same amount every single 2 weeks in your paycheck. It's going to fluctuate. So as a realtor, we are 100% commission based. That's how we get paid. And we also only get paid when the transaction closes. So you need to learn how to budget so that your income is steady, but you're budgeting it to make it steady. So let me give you an example. If, I meet a client in January, or home searching in February, they put an offer in March, gets accepted, and then April, we end up closing in May, because April drags out. Maybe the mortgage commitment took too long. So that's, January, February, March, April, May. That's a 5-month process to get paid. So you have to take those things into consideration. It's definitely different than getting that, every 2 weeks paycheck, and the same amount as well, because you have to consider that too. Did you just sell the $800,000 house, or did you sell a $300,000 house? Because those commissions are definitely going to be different. So budgeting is very important, because you are the boss of your own money. And again, that's not something that you're going to, someone's going to do for you. These brokers do have resources for all this stuff, but at the end of the day, you're the one who has to take it upon yourself to do this. You need to budget for yourself. So the next thing I wanted to talk about as far as financing is managing your expenses. So being an entrepreneur, being a realtor, you're going to have expenses to promote yourself. So you're going to need marketing expenses, promoting, advertising expenses. These are things you have to take into consideration and make sure that you put money aside for them and know your annual expenses, or plan them out, what your annual expenses are going to be. And what else do I want to say? Okay. Yep. So yeah, those are your expenses. Also, gas and clients, and you're going to spend different amounts of money as far as that end on different clients. You might have a client who finds, I just had one, we went 2 weeks, found a home, boom, close in like a month and a half. So like, that's great. I'm not going to spend a lot of money, but then you might get a client who drags it out 6 months. So you're going to be spending a little bit more there. So those are things you have to take in consideration. And you have to figure out how to manage your money in that way. So managing your money and budgeting your money is very important, because you do work for yourself, and it is a commission-based business, as most entrepreneurships are. So in order to make sure that the money keeps coming in, you have to create a system that works for you and your business. As I said before, all realtors do the same thing, but we do it in a different way. So whatever works for you and your business specifically, that's what you should focus on. And as I mentioned before, you do have resources with your broker to help you, learn, teach, learn how to advertise and market. But at the end of the day, any of those things, you're paying for them. And it's your job to do that. It's your job to stay dedicated, stay motivated. It's your job to manage how much money you make. So, this can relate to all entrepreneurships in general. You manage your own business, and as a realtor, that's what you do. You guys have questions, or?
I got some questions.
Okay.
Give me 1 second here. Let's see. So you said a couple of things that I found very interesting, but I wanted to know, like, so you said, so you basically you can't count on anybody to like really set your schedule up for you,
Right.
as a realtor. How do you manage that? Like, are there days that you're like, man, I really don't want to go to work today? Or, you ever had those moments?
I feel like everybody has moments where there's days they're like, oh, I just don't want to. But honestly, it's when you make your own schedule, it's a lot easier to say, well, I'm going to schedule this stuff for today, whatever. I'm going to, maybe lead generation. Maybe that's the thing that you don't like to do. You don't want to make those cold calls or whatever. So, but you have to do them. So you're going to fit them on a schedule. Maybe you'll do it on a Friday. This way you can go to happy hour later and you'll feel better about it, you know? But you schedule it, you know, you make your own schedule. And that's why I say it's specific to whatever fits your business, because whatever works for me might not work for someone else.
Right. So you can basically work it around. Well, that's a great thing about being an entrepreneur. If you're good at managing your time, you will find time for everything that you need to do as long as you manage your time properly. And another thing I find very effective is developing systems. You know, have a system that can work on its own, so it doesn't tie up your time.
Right. You do have to develop a system. I mean, at the end of the day, it is like, you know, and I mentioned it is a demanding job because, you know, a lot of these people, they're at work all day. And then when they get off of work, they're ready to talk and ask you questions. So you're working late. So I have, you know, I'll do my personal stuff early in the morning. Like if I'm going to work out, whatever, I'll get that out of the way early because I know that I'm going to be working really late. So it just, you know, it depends on, you know, your system and what, you know, what type of clients you're dealing with at the moment. Maybe you have an overnight guy so he'll be calling you all day. You know, it really varies, but it's up to you to adjust that because yeah, no one makes the schedule for you. Yes, your brokers say, you know, they'll help you and whatever. And they do have the resources, but only you know how you're going to be doing the best. You know, you can make that decision. So you have to do it yourself.
And do you find that there's some clients that are a little more demanding than others?
Yes. Some clients, you know, they're really easy. They're just, you know, they wait for you to call them and tell them the news. But then I have, and the one that I briefly messaged, you know, they call a lot, you know, call 2-3 times a day, which is fine because like I said, if I was a realtor that didn't have the knowledge, then it would be annoying because I'd have to say, I don't know, let me make a call, you know, but I'm like, yes, this is what this is. And I can end the call pretty quickly because I've given them the information right away.
Right. And it wasn't so difficult to do that. What are some of the perks you find from being a realtor? What are some of the high points?
I mean, the perks are the income is limitless. You know, you can make as much, there's no cap. You can make as much as you want. It just depends on how hard you work. And the schedule, it is flexible but like in the point where like you still got to answer the phone, but you can be like, I can go to Florida and answer the phone, you know, like I don't have to be in New Jersey. Like I can, you know, if we're having inspections and things like that. Yes. Or if I'm doing showings, but I can be elsewhere, you know, and still be here for my clients. You do get a little bit of flexibility. You know, my niece, I took her with me one day on showings because I was watching her, you know, I couldn't have done that if I was in the office. I couldn't have brought her to work, you know? So like little things like that. It's cool.
Yeah, because you're pretty much running your own business.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
Right. So let's talk about it from the listing end, right? The listing end of being a realtor, right? Now that's someone's most important, most valuable asset, right? Their house. Now, what are some of the ways that you approach a seller when it comes to listing their
How do I approach them to sell their home?
Yeah.
Well, I have to figure out if they are in the market to sell their home. What's their motivation? What's their drive to see if they're serious or not first. And then in this market, it's really easy because, you know, all these people are overpaying for houses and not just overpaying, but you're getting exactly what your home is worth. So I would take their, you know, find out what they still owe on their mortgage so that we can see what their net proceeds will be. And that's usually, you know, I break that down for them so they can see what they're going to be walking away with. And that's really what helps them understand that it's a good time to sell for sure.
Wow. And so basically the market right now this is not the normal market, right? The market isn't like
no. Yeah. I mean, you know, there's always real estate, you know, where people are always going to be buying, they're always going to be selling. But this is not normal in the case where I had a client we put an offer in on a house, and it was 30, 30 offers on the house. Like, that's a lot, and all these people are coming, prepared. So, and then, I might have a listing coming up in Clifton too. So I'm mentally preparing for, the amount of offers that you're gonna have to go through. So now it's not just, oh, let's put the 5 offers you got on the table and look at them. It's, let's build a spreadsheet with 25 offers and go through them and see which ones are the best ones. Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, the sellers, they're at an advantage. It's a little more, work to go through, but they're definitely at an advantage, because you're not just, having, oh, let's pick between these 2 guys right here. No, let's pick between these 25 guys right here. Like,
That brings up a great question. How do you prepare the seller to pick 1 or 2 of these people? Is there any criteria, a little insider tip? If you're going to put an offer on a house and be one of 30, this will help you stand out. I mean, short of cash.
yes. I mean, I'm not gonna give away my terms, but there are, yes, and that's where the knowledge comes in. Like, if I'm with the seller, I'm going to prepare them for a realistic offer. Like, just because it's a big number they throw out doesn't mean that that's going to be the greatest offer. So we're going to look at everything, and I'm going to go through and explain to them beforehand what I think the best offer will be, and the terms. And then, I can help them make that decision. But as far as on the offering side too, when you're with buyers, same thing, there's going to be terms that you put in there. Because the highest one, and I know I've talked about appraisals too, which that comes into play when you're throwing in these big offers. Well, do these people have the cash to cover the overage? So there's a lot of, but the terms are definitely important. The terms are very important. It's not just, who's got the highest number. Terms are very important.
So let's look at it from the buyer's perspective now. Like, you have a buyer. What are some of the things you need to know as a realtor when you have a buyer?
You need to know the process. You need to be able to hold their hand through the process and explain everything from the beginning to the end. And like I mentioned, I think I said, you can say these are the 5 steps to buying a home, but there's not 5 steps to buying a home. There's like 500 steps to buying a home. Right. And you need to be able to explain that to them. But that also comes into play when you're dealing with the sellers, because you want to be able to explain to them the process that the other end is going through as well. So that they know what to expect. They know, how long they have to wait for a mortgage commitment. They have to, you want them to be aware of the timeframes too, and what they're expecting from the buyer. So it's important on both ends.
Yeah. I just want to let everybody know that you can actually get in touch with Amanda through our app. When you download it to your phone, Phoenix National Network, you'll be able to contact her. We have a chat room where you can communicate with her as well on there. So if you'd like to interact, ask questions, it's very easy. You just download the app, and you can reach out to her as well. The market can be very complicated, right? Mm-hmm. As far as when is it the right time to buy? When is it the right time to sell? And I've heard so many amateur professionals on the market. Oh yeah, it is a seller's market. Oh, it is a buyer's market. And they just, that's the only 2 terms they know.
Yeah, exactly.
As far as the market goes. Yeah. But there are just so many different factors, right? Like, what are some of the factors that you see mostly that people miss when it comes to understanding the market?
Well, like you just said, they'll say, oh, it's a seller's market. And, what does that mean? Or that doesn't mean that it's not a buyer's market as well. I mean, I can't say that. It's not a buyer's market. It is labeled a seller's market. Because they're the most in advantage right now. But that doesn't mean that the buyers can't get a good deal. Right. And like I was saying, you can work it out where you're getting the house at what it's actually worth if you have great terms. Right. So and you're going to get that great interest rate as well. Mm-hmm. And a lot of these sellers, what are they doing? they're going to be buying something else. So they're going to be understanding of that too. You have to
Right.
really think about that. So yeah, I mean, it's a seller's market in that in what people call it, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. Other people are not at advantage for sure.
Because like the interest rates, right? The interest
Yeah,
rates
the interest rates are
pretty
super
good.
low. Mhm.
Right. So, I mean, it's also, I see what you're saying, it's also like a buyer's market because, you got a low interest rate.
And then those sellers, they've got to buy something else, unless a lot of them though are too moving out of the state. But for the ones that are selling, the listing that's coming up in Clifton, they're selling to buy something else. So now they're going to be a buyer. So, it's hard to balance. And that's why like everyone has so many questions about the market crashing and stuff too, which I'm not even going to get into that, but
You know what? It's like a wave, right?
yeah,
You ride the wave while it's there.
exactly.
And when it subsides, there's another wave coming.
Exactly.
So it's not like the real estate market is going anywhere, because people always need somewhere to live.
Exactly.
Right? It's not like we're going to run out of stock. Oh, there are no houses on the market. Oh my God.
Well, there could be no houses on the market.
Zero houses, zero buyers. It's never, I don't think that's ever going to flatline because people are always moving.
Right. With the rates, I think that is definitely like what you're saying about the wave. So right now it's a wave everyone's riding, but we're going to see it obviously start to slow down because you've already refinanced. A lot of the people are refinancing, so you're not going to get any lower.
Right.
The people, so that's definitely a wave that we've been riding, but is definitely foresee that slowing down, especially with like the refinance market.
Right. Yeah. One thing I realize is that everything, no matter which arena you're in, everything has a cycle. Everything has a normal, like a normalcy plane. And so if you see a high or a low in anything, it has to stabilize itself at some point, which is, I call it just a normal cycle of life, right? It just everything has to find its normal place so that, it can fluctuate and do what it normally will do. And I know that's what the market is going to do at some point, and people are going to lose money. People are going to make money, but somewhere in the mix, things are going to happen. I love the real estate market because it's one of the most stable investments you can ever make.
Yeah. I mean, you buy a house and even if the market goes down for a while, you wait until it goes back up and you're good.
I got a quick recap. Give us the recap on the 7 points. And then I'm going to ask you a question on that.
Okay. So the 7 points are knowledge, learning the whole process and all of the different parties involved. The second point is knowing your market, the knowledge in the market, having knowledge of the market, what's going on. The third one is being able to push yourself because no one's going to do it for you. The fourth one is dedication. You've got to be dedicated because it's a very demanding job. The fifth one is learning to have patience with people. That one's very important. And then the last two, the number 6 is learning how to manage your budget, learning to make a budget. And then number 7 is managing your money.
All right. So I'm going into the real estate. I'm going to be a real estate agent tomorrow. Which of these 7 is my top priority?
If you're just starting tomorrow, I would say focus on your money because you're not going to make any in the beginning. So, make your business plan. Make your business plan and figure out what you need to make as a yearly income, and then break it down to your budget, and then use the example I gave. Like, say you're not going to get paid for 6 months. Use something long, rather than say I'll get paid in a month, because you can get paid in like a month and a half if it's a quick client. But use the 6 months so you're prepared just in case maybe every client you get ends up being like that. So I would do that, prepare for your budget. And then the other things you're going to learn as you go, like the patience and whatever. And sometimes the dedication and the drive, not everybody has that. So you have to think about that too. I know Oscar has it, so he'll do great. He's going to go and be like a top realtor and he's going to like blow me away. I can see it now. But yeah, that's I would focus on making sure you have a financial plan first.
I know you have to go to school, right?
Mhm.
So what are some of the things, I'm not sure if this is a good question, but what are some of the things that you have to do as far as getting your license?
You have to take a course. It's I don't remember how long it was.
I think it can be like 2 weeks. It all depends on which
I
school.
took it. I took a night school because I was doing title during the day.
Mhm.
I think it was like 5 weeks or something.
5 weeks, yeah. I mean, I was looking at it. I think there's a 2 week straight.
Yeah, there's different options. If you go full time during the day, I think you can get it done. Oh no, wait, is that what I did? I think I may have done that one. I think I don't
Like, wait a
remember
minute. I think I did the 2 weeks
that.
or the 5 months or the 1 year. It's one of those.
And I actually never went. No, and then there's
I just said,
weekend
hey, here's the
classes.
license.
There's weekend classes too, but that takes even longer. But yeah, you go there and they teach you all the laws and the stuff that you should know when you're practicing so that you don't get sued and all that good stuff.
Which
There's
happens
a
a
lot of
lot.
information,
It
but
happens
the
frequently.
best experience is to just get hands-on. Like I have someone I'm working with, she's brand new. She had started at a different real estate company, and then she joined me over at Remax. And like I've been taking her along with me to show her things and whatever, and she just like I never would have learned this stuff just looking at a class all day or like whatever. So it's really you got to get out there and you got to just do it and learn it. And that's just the best way to learn. And learning all these other things like the patience and being good with people and the dedication, you learn that as you go. You learn that being out in the field. It's a hands-on learning for sure.
You just said you're with Remax now.
Yeah.
So that is a question. There are all these different real estate agencies. How does one pick a real estate? Like, all right, tomorrow I become a real estate agent. I pass all my tests. Yeah, sure. Become a real estate agent. And now I'm like, what company do I, buy a desk at? What is that process?
That is, you've got to go on a bunch of different interviews and find out what each company offers. And again, that's specific to your business, what you need. As you're an entrepreneur, so it's whatever is specific to your business. Maybe this company has a higher split and that's what you want because you don't need anybody to help you as much. But maybe you want to go if you're just starting out, you want to go with the company that does a lot of classes and helping you out. And you don't care about the lower split because you're really there for the knowledge first. Maybe you're in it for the leads. So you want to go to a company that offers leads. Maybe you don't want anything and you want 100% commission and you're okay with that. And so it really, there's so many different things, but it's going to be different for each individual person. And that's something, again, no one's going to tell you, you have to do this, you have to do that. You have to go talk to all these people, figure out which one you want to work for or work with, and just find your best fit. And you can change. I changed. If something's not working out, you move on to the next one. Because again, you're working for yourself. They are obviously going to make money off of you too. But at the end of the day, it's your decision. You're a 1099.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're your boss. You're your boss, even though you're under a broker, right?
Right.
You're your boss. You make your own time. You make your own schedule, and based on how you set up your system, depends on how profitable you are or not profitable.
Exactly. And you have the broker, and I'm sure they want you to make money.
Yeah.
But it's up to you to actually make it. For sure.
And it's like if you think about it, your business is strongest on the weekend. And so if you're a person that loves having your weekends off, that's probably one of the things that you may have to consider if you want to be a realtor, right?
Right. Well, I would say a lot of the like the transaction part is done during the week. So the less fun stuff is done during the week. You have to learn how to love. If you love real estate on the weekends, it's not going to be that bad. I mean, you're giving up your weekends, but you're giving it up to host an open house or like, do some fun stuff if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then it's going to be bad. Or you're going to show people houses and look at houses. So it's, but you are going to have to, if you planned that vacation and you have clients that want to list their house that weekend, you better cancel that vacation because you need to list that house,
Right,
promise
right.
them, that you would be their agent, and you have to be there because, like I said before, there's a million other agents and it's very competitive. So if you don't do it, someone else will.
And that's how it is in real estate.
You don't do it, somebody else will.
Somebody else will, because there's a gazillion realtors out there.
Exactly. Better be on top of your game, and I am. So
That's it. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's why we have to encourage you to reach out to Amanda. Her information is on the tag in the program, so you can call her. You can download the app and get to know her even better there. Her information is in there. You can see her website and even more information, and even have a private chat with her in the app as well. So we look forward to seeing you guys for the next program, which is coming up with Whitney Cobrin, who's our love coach. And she's going to be talking about the four ways to finding love. And so that's going to be an amazing program. We look forward to seeing her there. And that's it. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everybody.